Music holds a great amount of power and influence. Music is universal, people bond and come together because of certain kinds of music, or just music in general. This can be seen in A Long Way Gone, a memoir by Ishmael Bea. In A Long Way Gone, Ishmael lived through a war going on in Sierra Leone, first having to flee his hometown and suffer through the war without any parental guidance, then serving in the war as a boy soldier. Once he was removed from the war, however, he was sent to a rehabilitation center to re-enter society. Ishmael often wrote about his rap cassettes that he carried around through the war until the unfortunate event that led to the loss of these objects. Throughout the memoir, rap music is mentioned, and Ishmael's rap cassettes often appear so much that they start to symbolize something. In the memoir, A Long Way Gone, the rap cassettes Ishmael owns both symbolize his life in innocence and loss of innocence before, during, and after the war. Before the war affected him, Ishmael Bea lived in what was considered a normal life in his hometown. He lived with his father, stepmother, and older brother, Junior, and visited his mother and his younger brother in a different home across the village. He was a student, only 12 years old at the time, attending school like any other boy would his age. During this peaceful time over the holidays, Junior brought Ishmael rap cassettes, such as Eric B. and Ramkin's I Know You Got Soul, and taught him how to dance. Ishmael even stated that he loved to learn the lyrics of the songs played because it improved his English. One could see how the music from the cassettes affected him when Ishmael states, on page 7, "Before we parted to carry out our various evening chores of fetching water and cleaning lamps, we would say, 'Peace, son,' or 'I'm out,' phrases we had picked up from the rap lyrics." These new cassettes that he obtains from Junior symbolizes his innocence before the war tainted him, and to another extension, they represent his life as nothing but a boy unaffected by the cruel workings of the world around him. Once the war had begun, Ishmael, Junior, Taloy, Gabrilla, Kaloko, and Kalilu found comfort in listening to rap music, as stated on page 15. Junior, Taloy, and I listened to rap music, trying to memorize the lyrics so that we could avoid thinking about the situation at hand. This also symbolizes Ishmael using the music to maintain his innocence. Ishmael carried his rap cassettes with him when he had fled from his hometown with his brother and friends. In Sierra Leone, being a boy during the time of war was extremely inconvenient due to the fact the Revolutionary United Front, RUF, recruited boys from a wide range of ages. Twice these cassettes saved the boys from harsh punishment, as said by one of the village chiefs the first time they were captured on page 38, "If you do not tell me the truth, I am going to have these men tie stones to your body and throw you in the river." Luckily, when the guards had checked all of the boys' pockets, finding the cassettes and playing them, by listening to the music, the chief of the village came to the conclusion that the group was not soldiers but merely boys. Then they were given food and temporary shelter, then allowed to leave unharmed. The second time Ishmael was captured, he was with a different group of boys, having lost his friends and his brother earlier, and the chief of this village responded similarly to the first. He threatened to harm the boys because he thought they were rebels. Once again, their pockets were looted, and the guards found one of his cassettes, Naughty by Nature. Upon playing this cassette, Ishmael was told to dance to another song on another one of the cassettes, OPP, and then he danced to the song I Need Love. Once he finished dancing, the chief let the boys go unharmed under the condition they left the area immediately. They did just that. During both encounters, the cassettes served as a reminder to others that Ishmael and his friends were still only boys, but now touched by war and slowly losing what innocence they had left. The next time the cassettes are mentioned in the memoir is when Ishmael was drafted to become a soldier and served to fight against the RUF. Right before he began his training, he changed into new clothes, with his old ones being burned in a blazing fire. Sadly, in Ishmael's old pair of pants, he still had his rap cassettes in his pockets. This means that the rap cassettes that Ishmael was given by his brother were destroyed, and, by extension, destroying his old life and foreshadowing the loss of his innocence. After he started his training, he was programmed by his corporal, who often yelled, as found on page 112, "Is that how you stab someone who killed your family?" And visualize the enemy, the rebels who killed your parents, your family, and those who are responsible for everything that has happened to you. Soon, once his training was complete and he went through some practical training, Ishmael was promoted to junior lieutenant, someone who did not hesitate to kill anyone who associated with the RUF. Ishmael and hundreds of other children went from being young boys to ruthless killing machines who smoked marijuana and horribly abused the use of drugs as if they were adults. The innocence and old life Ishmael had was gone, just like the cassettes. Eventually, Ishmael is deported from the military and taken away by the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, to a rehabilitation center called Benin Home. At the rehabilitation center, Ishmael meets a nurse who goes by the name Esther. At first, Ishmael refused to trust her, thinking of his time as a soldier, but soon he grew to form a sister-brother bond with her. She bought him a Walkman and new cassette tapes, including works from Bob Marley, so he would be able to reconnect with his love of music. The new cassette tapes symbolize a significant change in Ishmael's life and a regaining of innocence in a sense. Although after the war he is most definitely not innocent and unknowing of the world around him, he is given the chance to be a boy again, not a soldier. After some time spent in the rehabilitation center, Ishmael finally is able to open up again to the people and re-enter society as a normal boy. He moves in with his uncle and his family. However, due to war striking in the city, Ishmael was forced to move to the United States to start a new life yet again. Throughout Ishmael's journey through Sierra Leone, he faced many hardships that many full-grown adults never dare to face. He somehow struggled through it all to live. Ishmael Bea lost his innocence when he was still supposed to attend school and live a normal life for a boy in his early teens, but he doesn't wallow over this fact. Instead of wallowing in self-pity, he embraces all the hurtful actions to become an advocate for child soldiers. All of this is shown by the rap cassettes he carried before and during the war, when the cassettes were burned when he became a soldier, and the new cassettes he obtained in the rehabilitation center. These cassettes symbolize a major change in his life during the journey, and both a loss and a regaining of innocence.